Hello everyone, I'm your host Mike. No matter what you're doing right now, whether you're on your way home from work or lying alone at home, I want to say thank you for setting aside your valuable time to join me on this journey of the soul. This podcast episode is called Voice of the Soul. In this podcast, we embark on a spiritual journey together. Why did we create this program called Voice of the Soul? While preparing this podcast, I kept asking myself, what exactly do I want to bring to everyone? After much reflection, I realized the answer was incredibly simple. It is not about complicated psychological theories, nor is it about recycling motivational cliches. I simply want to give you a place where you can catch your breath. Have you ever experienced moments like this? At work during the day, giving it your all, then at night, returning home, closing the door, and feeling completely drained of energy. Despite having many friends around in the deep of night, you have no one to share your innermost thoughts with. Seeing others happy and positive, while you yourself often struggle with your mental state. We are always mindful of others' feelings, busy meeting everyone's expectations, yet forgetting to pause and listen to our own inner voice. It might whisper to you, I am tired, or I want to be understood. Or perhaps it simply wants you to be quiet for a moment. And Voice of the Soul is that companion willing to hear you, helping you recognize your emotions and embrace your imperfect self. Today is our first episode. Let's talk about one of the most common emotions, anxiety. I bet you've experienced this feeling before, like when you have an important presentation tomorrow, tossing and turning the night before, your mind racing. What if I forget my lines? What if my boss isn't satisfied? Or when a proposal is due at month end, you have plenty of time, yet you feel restless. Switching between your phone and materials, you just can't get anything done or stay focused. Sometimes nothing's even happening, yet you feel inexplicably tense, with a weight on your chest. Even your breathing becomes shallow. Many people fear anxiety itself, thinking, why am I anxious again? Is something wrong with my mental health? Actually, there's no need to panic. Psychology tells us anxiety is an evolutionary protective mechanism. Like how primitive humans got nervous facing wild animals, heart racing, that's your body mobilizing energy to flee. Our modern anxiety works essentially the same way. This matter is important to your system, and you need to pay attention to it. Pre-presentation anxiety is telling you this presentation affects your work performance. Practice expressing yourself first. Anxiety before submitting a proposal reminds you not to procrastinate, to complete the task promptly. However, anxiety sometimes becomes counterproductive because we often treat these warning signals as enemies, either desperately suppressing them, stop thinking or you'll get anxious, or we let anxiety take the lead. It's over, I've definitely messed this up, and suddenly we're trapped by our anxiety. I once met a listener who would get so anxious about project deadlines that he couldn't eat. At first he kept telling himself, why are you so useless? You can't even handle this small thing. He scolded himself, grew more anxious, and sometimes cried alone. Later, he tried a different approach. When anxiety hit, he would pause and place his hand on his chest, feeling his heartbeat running faster than usual. He reminds himself, I'm anxious right now because I worry the project might go wrong. Let me list the parts where I might make mistakes first. He listed out all the potential problem areas and then carefully checked them over and over again, after which he realized what I feared wasn't anxiety itself, but being unprepared. When similar situations arose later, he handled them by making lists, and his anxiety noticeably decreased. The first one is the 3-second breathing method. When you feel your heart racing and cannot sit still, try slowly inhaling through your nose, like 1, 2, 3. Then hold your breath for 1 second and slowly exhale through your mouth. For 5 seconds, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. While breathing, focus your attention on the air flowing through your body. For example, feel the cool air entering your nose and warm air leaving through your mouth. Repeat this 3 times and you'll notice your heartbeat slowing down and your mind becoming clearer. The second small technique is to visualize your anxiety. For example, if you are anxious about failing tomorrow's interview, do not think, "I definitely cannot do it." Instead, write it down on paper or in your phone's notes. "I'm worried I might fail the interview tomorrow. What am I afraid of?" Worried about not being able to answer professional questions? Am I afraid of being too nervous to speak? Am I afraid the interviewer will have a bad attitude? After writing these down, address each point with, "What can I do about it?" For professional questions, I will review again today. Tomorrow I will arrive 10 minutes early and take deep breaths at the venue. Regardless of the interviewer's attitude, I will respond politely. By turning vague anxiety into specific issues with solutions, anxiety becomes much less frightening. The third little technique is to schedule time for your anxiety. For example, when you keep remembering during work that you haven't paid your utility bills or haven't checked your child's homework, getting increasingly anxious and unable to focus. Tell yourself, "I'll focus on work now," then use my 10-minute lunch break specifically to think about these things and write down what needs to be done. Anxiety often stems from worrying about unhandled tasks. Give these concerns a fixed time slot and they will stop interrupting you constantly. I believe after today's show, everyone should feel less afraid of anxiety. And with that, today's program comes to an end. Thank you for listening until now. I hope this podcast and these insights about anxiety have brought some happiness and warmth to your heart. Let's talk again next time. See you then without fail. I am your host, Mike.